You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Derek Jeter! Derek Jeter! Derek Jeter! Derek Jeter! Derek Jeter!
Take your time.
You know what you are? You're a popcorn salesman.
Worldwide Sports Radio presents the Home Stretch.
All right, let's hit the field.
With Tyler and friends.
Hello! Welcome to the Home Stretch, where all of our childhood heroes deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, except this guy to my left knows nothing about any Hall of Famers because he's a Met fan.
Excuse me?
But on the first part, welcome to the Home Stretch. I'm your host, Tyler Harrison, along with my co-host slash producer slash amazingly timed Speedy Petey.
Amazingly timed.
And the Beav is here.
Of course.
And the Beav is here.
And the Beav is here.
And the Beav
You
is
should
here.
be thrilled that I'm here.
I'm always thrilled that you're here because now I look smarter than I already was.
Keep telling yourself that.
Oh, I don't need
That's
to.
fine.
Other people tell me to. It's
Oh,
great. It's
well,
awesome.
well.
Anyway, so a lot to get to.
Yes, sir, indeed.
So we were going to start with the UFC today because they put on a sham of a fight on Saturday. Absolute sham. I was ready to go. I know Errol talked about it, but you know, I said this last year about this place, and I got a lot of resentment towards it. It's hysterical how a year changes things. That's one.
I think him talking about it is an understatement.
Oh, I couldn't watch the show because I want my own opinion. I don't want to repeat anything that he said on purpose. So that's one. Two, the MLB Hall of Fame came out today, and I didn't really think it was that big of a deal until the vote actually came out. Derek Jeter was going to be a selection no matter what you thought. It was guaranteed he was going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. That, to me, wasn't a question. It was going to be, is he going to join his partner Mariano as unanimous, or was he going to get screwed? And he ultimately got screwed.
Yes, he
but
did.
That's not where we're starting the show. Antonio Brown is again in the media. I said this over Friday. I'll rehash this again. Someone needs to get this man help.
Yes.
He's very close to what Aaron Hernandez started doing, and it's not okay. And honestly, at this point, his family, if he has any, and I'm just saying that because no one's reached out to him yet to tell him to shut the hell up. Someone needs to go down there and physically get him into a rehab.
Well, even his cousin that plays for Baltimore, he should do something to help him. Right?
Well, yeah, but to be quite honest with you, if I was him, I'd stay far away from him
Well,
at this point.
yeah.
You're a young rookie wide receiver who's trying to learn the game of football.
Yeah, but it's still family.
Yeah,
You should still help him. No?
But they're cousins. Cousins. You don't know if they're strange cousins, distant
True,
cousins.
true.
I see my cousins once a year, so you
I
know
see
what I
my
mean.
cousins all the time, so
Well,
there you go.
every
So,
family is different.
Yep.
That's the point. But there's a lot to get to. Obviously, we have the Super Bowl, Kansas City, San Francisco. That's what the picks were over the weekend. You know, the playoffs unfortunately had a bitter sweet to it.
a lot of surprises.
Yeah, but no, I mean,
Tennessee beating Baltimore was a surprise, yes.
I called it, so I guess it wasn't a surprise to me. But
Well,
that's fine.
That's still a surprise.
Well, not to those who were in shock, sure. Not to me. But anyway, there's just a lot to get to. But first, we all know how this show starts. We all know how I love to do this. If you want to call the show and talk about how great Derek Jeter is with me, the number to do that is 1-845-478-3272. Again, that is the number to call, 845-478-3272. Or if you have any random questions, we love going off topic here. And Renee Canales no longer works here, so someone has to go off the rails about something. We're actually going to start in hockey news because I feel like around the world in sports never starts with hockey. I normally save it for last because I can't stand talking about hockey so quickly. We're going to start with the biggest hockey game around here. We're from Long Island. Long Island's own the New York Islanders take on the New York's favorite team, the New York Rangers. The Rangers have taken 2 out of the last 3. Unfortunately, right now, it looks like the Islanders are taking the third one. They're up actually right now 3-0. So you see how I did that? Thank you. Yeah, 3-0. And the New York Rangers need to stop playing Gergachev. His value is dropping by the minute. So I would stop playing him
Well,
altogether.
he was undefeated against the Islanders until now.
Nah, well, he hasn't played great since they brought up Shesterkin, and right now, teams are looking at him going, yeah, well, there goes your first-round pick. We'll give you a third now. They need to stop playing him. But in other news, Vegas is up 2-1 over the Boston Bruins. Mark Stone, blast from the past, and Nicholas Hague has scored for the Knights. While
Blast from the past. He's 25 years old.
is he really that young?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! I feel like I've said his name for years now. And Jeremy Lauzon has scored for the Bruins. As Boston's kind of going in a little bit of a cold streak themselves. The Penguins and Flyers. That is a hockey game that everyone should want to watch. That's tied at 0. Sit the
Never mind,
kids
he's
back.
27.
No, see, I was
He's
going to
still
say.
young.
Yeah, but I feel like I've been saying his name for 10 years. The Carolina Hurricanes are up 3-1 over the Winnipeg Jets. I almost said the Minneapolis Jets. I don't know why. I apologize. Patrick Laine has scored for the Jets. Terino Taravainen. Justin Williams has scored. I think this is his first game back, right?
No, I think he's been back. 4 games now.
All right, well, it's his first goal, so there's that. And Martin Nikas has scored for the Hurricanes, 3-1 Hurricanes. And later today, the Chicago Blackhawks take on the Florida Panthers. And that's all the hockey. We actually have a lot of college basketball to get to, so here we go for that. At 11 o'clock, San Diego State will take on Wyoming. They'll win this game by about 60. Wyoming's 5-15.
They
San
had to
Diego.
rally over the weekend. They were down at halftime.
No, I think
Game
San Diego
play.
State will win this one handsomely. And at 9 o'clock, Duke takes on Miami. That could be a trap game.
A week after they lost to Clemson.
That could be a trap game.
All right.
That could be a trap game. Right now, let's go to games in action, right? In the second half, number 15 ranked Kentucky is up 57-52 over the University of Georgia. Illinois, 21 ranked in the nation, are beating Purdue 49-39. Here's the game that everyone should be watching, and I mean this. Number 9, Villanova, is taking on number 13, Butler, 49-45. Villanova, 11 minutes left in the second half. Go check out that
Two
game.
big runs here to open up the second half for that game.
Yeah. And let's go to the blowout, right? All right, so number 3, Kansas, is up 60-39 over Kansas State. That's that. And also, yeah, I know how you feel about Kansas. It's okay. It's all right, buddy. We'll get over it. And then number 18, Texas Tech, is up 20-15 over TCU with about 9 minutes left in the first half. This game just started. And then upset alert, number 17, Maryland, is trailing 48-42 to Northwestern.
They haven't been the same since they were one of the 3 undefeated teams, or 4 undefeated teams.
I
left
feel
for a
like the
while.
undefeated teams this whole year have been screwed.
Well, yeah, but
jinxed.
I think they started. They were the 4th or 5th one left, and since then they've been, I think, a game or 2 under 500.
Yeah, they haven't been the same. You are right about that. And then, ladies and gentlemen, there's one basketball game today. A lot of them played yesterday for Martin Luther King Day, and Damian Lillard put on a show. Man, that boy is special. We need to stop acting like he's not the best. He's right now the best point guard in basketball. By far. That is without certainty. He's the best point guard in basketball. And if I'm Golden State, Steph Curry is not playing until next year. That's me. But
Right.
at 8:30, Kawhi Leonard, Luka Doncic, Paul George, Dallas, Los Angeles Clippers, Rick Carlisle, Doc Rivers. There you go. 8:30. It's going to be a great game. It will be on NBA TV. So definitely check that out. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Around the World in Sports. Brought to you by New York Sports Scene. See that behind me? Yep. 1815 Middle Country Road. Yep. Hop Hog. Yep. New York. Yep. Zip code? Nope. Don't know it. Don't really care. Don't really care. I have no idea what it is, I swear. But that's Around the World in Sports. Absolutely amazing time. So before we get into, obviously, the sports segment of this show, that will include a lot of Derek Jeter, Larry Walker talk, as they're the 2 to be inducted into the 2020 class of the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. There's a lot of gripes. Trust me, there's a lot of gripes. I have a huge one, but that's neither here nor there. I do want to just take a second here, because I don't know if anyone else has done this today. I hope everyone fully understands what yesterday meant in Martin Luther King Day, and I hope everyone, especially right now, understands the magnitude of what he actually meant to society, not just one group of people, to society. Because there are other groups of people during this time that were not held in the same regard. Basically, if you weren't a white male during this time, you didn't really have a say in what was going on. And that's not what we're here for, not to make this conversation uncomfortable. Obviously, I don't know the other side of the struggle, or I don't know the struggle, but I do know a lot of people that do know the struggle, and I'm very glad that we are finally getting better at addressing things, and I am very glad that we are more vocal as a society. And I really hope that everyone remembers what Martin Luther King's message was, because it feels like we've sort of lost track of that, you know. So I do hope that everyone kind of lets that sink in and just kind of remembers the magnitude of it. Obviously, there was a lot of obstacles he had to overcome, but again, just we all have a dream. So, yeah, no one's too big or too small for their dream, and whatever their dream is, let them do it. But
Well said, Tyler.
thank you. I do get paid around here to do this for a reason. But yes, so we will leave the sloppy stuff behind, and we will get back to the sports, because that's what we do. But before we do that, Snugs alert!
Oh, here we go.
Speedy, you've got to murder one. Oh, F1 and marry one. The Kansas Jayhawks, the San Diego Chargers, and the Beeve. Ban the Beeve. Hashtag New Year, no Beeve.
Oh, God. All right, so
Oh,
what was it?
Jesus.
The Chargers, the Kansas basketball, and the Beef. So,
Oh, my God.
oh, jeez.
Can we talk sports?
We are, but this is much more funny.
All right. I guess the Chargers, for Mary, they have to have somebody hot with the cheerleaders, I guess.
There you go. Good answer. Good answer, Speedy. Good answer.
What were the other two? It was,
I feel like I'm on Family Feud.
was-
Good answer. Good answer. Yeah, it's on the board. Good answer. Yeah.
what was it? Kill one and what else?
F1.
Oh, hell no.
I guess you're done, Beef. Goodbye. You're done.
I guess so.
Just get 6 feet under.
I'll do it myself.
Oh, all right. There you go.
Beef,
Hell no.
Beef, you're in a tough spot either way.
That's what she said.
Oh, well, yeah.
I guess I'll
Pretty much.
keep the Beef alive at least.
Oh, no. I gotta go.
Yeah.
I gotta go. End the show.
You'd rather be dead, Beef?
End the show.
Beef, I'll let you choose
No.
if that really mattered, because
I'll jump off the bridge myself, all right?
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, Jesus.
That's crazy.
That's just sick.
I think
You guys are sick, both of you.
both.
I got asked the question.
I just read what I was written.
Well, maybe next time keep it to yourself.
But that's not what Snugs Alerts are for.
That's not what Stux Alerts are for. You have to appreciate the Stux Alerts.
All right, let's get into it,
Even if
Tyler.
it means embarrassing yourself.
Whoa,
on
whoa,
air.
whoa.
Let's
I
go.
know you just got hit on, but don't bring it this way.
Let's
Jesus
go.
Christ. All right, so in all seriousness, the big news of today is the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame has announced their inductees. Derek Jeter will be the headliner of this class. He received 99.7% of the vote.
I want to know who's the one guy that didn't vote him in.
I wish I would've thought Jeter was on steroids.
99.7%.
It's just ridiculous.
No, I guarantee you what the guys. I know exactly
Probably
what the guys are going to say. It has nothing to do with steroids.
It's probably someone from Boston who didn't put him in.
No, I guarantee you I know what the 1% is.
Oh.
That I guarantee you what they'll say. And then we'll get to that. And then Larry Walker got in by, 6 votes?
Something like that.
77.6%, I think it was.
77.6.
That is absolutely blasphemous to me that Larry Walker didn't get in not unanimously,
Not unanimously,
but
no.
in the 80 percentile, 85%. He should have been higher up than
And
this.
so Kurt
And it
Schilling
should not
been
have.
higher, too.
Well, we're going to get to this. I promise you that. We're going to get to that. But, guys, what is our immediate takeaway?
Well, with Walker, I think I agree with you. I think he deserved to get in. Probably not the first time, obviously, but probably at least 5 times in the ballot, 6 times in the ballot. This was the first icon, really, of the franchise. Todd Helton was really the second, but Walker was really
No, that the Expos, too, he was great.
and it really changed a lot. He played on a lot of really bad teams, and he still had very good numbers with it. So it's not like he was carried by Coors Field his whole career. It's not like he was carried by a great offense around him his whole career. Because the Expos had some good teams, but once guys like Reigns...
The Expos had a great team.
Right, but once the strike happened, those guys
Yes.
really fell apart.
Yes.
And eventually, he had to just be on his own for some point, and then he
Mm-hmm.
ended up going to Colorado. I think '97. So at that point, you really had a couple of years playing with nobody, and he had 4 different seasons of 350. And again, really, I think him rising the Rockies organization the way they did, so they weren't as bad as something like the Devil Rays were in the beginning of their franchise. Because, again, those expansion teams can be tough. The Diamondbacks won a World Series. The Marlins won a World Series. So they got the right-away boost. But the Rockies didn't have that, but they still had somebody like Larry Walker.
Well, the Diamondbacks
who was a
shouldn't have
great
won.
player, very consistent player for a
Well,
long
the
time.
Diamondbacks should have had no business winning that World Series against the Yankees in 2011.
2011.
2001.
No, one. I'm sorry.
You added a 1.
I added a
They
one.
made the
I know.
playoffs in 11. They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't. They lost in the first round.
Here's my problem. Okay. We're going to talk about Derek Jeter, but let's just talk about for a second here how Andy Pettitte is only at 11% of the vote,
That's crazy too.
and how Todd Helton is at 29% of the vote.
Right. He should be in, too.
That's ridiculous.
He's the actual
That is
bigger icon
absolutely
that Rockies
insane. Billy Wagner is an how is Billy Wagner not on the list? Billy Wagner is arguably the best closer of this generation, not named Mariano Rivera. That's asinine. That's ridiculous. Absolutely insane. And then obviously Bonds and Clemens are going to get in probably next year,
do. The way it's progressing, it seems like the percentage.
and the Rangers have scored.
The way it's progressing, it seems like the percentages favor. It's going to be 2 years, 3 years,
It could
something
be.
like
It could
that
be.
for Bonds
It could be
and
2 to
Clemens.
4 years. It
Yeah,
could be.
right. So they'll get in, and then once they'll get in, it'll be
Well-
a ripple effect.
And Gary Sheffield needs to get.
Gary
Gary
Sheffield
Sheffield
will get
should absolutely already be in.
Gary Sheffield will get in too. I think with the Bonds and Clemens, I think they're still.
You
still
talk about all
kinda
these
linked
guys
to
that should be
them,
getting
so-
in. I mean, but like a guy like Pete Rose, he should be in it.
Well, that's a whole different issue.
You're not kidding.
You're going by numbers. The Hall of Fame is based off of numbers.
No, it's not.
Well,
No,
it's really
it's
not.
not.
I know it's not, but that's what it should be based
Right,
off
but it's also a big reason Larry Walker got in over a lot of these other borderline guys.
It shouldn't
too.
be because
his
all-
analytic numbers are very.
It shouldn't
good.
be because you're well liked and this and that, and you're friendly with the press.
It's what you do for the game of baseball.
That's true too.
So-
yes.
Now, I guess my problem isn't that they banned Pete Rose from the Hall of Fame. I understand if you did that for obvious reasons, like gambling on baseball is bad. But in hindsight, you just had the biggest scandal in Major League Baseball history, and you completely
yes.
gave no punishment whatsoever. And on top of that,
Yet, I think more will come.
oh well, you can't penalize the Astros, so you're gonna have to harsh down the Red
Well,
Sox.
they were talking about giving the World Series to the Dodgers.
Yeah, well,
You can't do
Well,
that.
but you can't do that because they lost.
Exactly.
So just vacate the title. I don't give a damn who
well,
wins the World Series.
they could do that. Sure. No, they can name no champion for that year. But
Oh, Ryan Strome has scored another goal for the Rangers. What a freaking pickup he is.
yeah, he's a good player. Absolutely.
But
I mean,
so it's for what you do for the game of baseball. I have no problem with Pete Rose not being in the Hall of Fame. My problem is Pete Rose should be in the Hall of Fame because if you go to the Hall of Fame,
All his
he's
stuff's
got
there.
a ton of stuff there.
You're
He's
absolutely
got
right.
He's got 2 floors.
You're right.
He's absolutely all over the place. I think there's a store there named after him. I don't understand. And to be honest with you, Charlie Hustle to me outweighs the gambling. He didn't bet on his team to lose. He wasn't an NBA. He wasn't Tim Donahue.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Knicks are going to lose this game by 15. What are the Knicks up by?
he
17.
bet
All right.
on himself to win.
Right. He bet on his team to win.
So,
That to me is just any.
and how many times did Jordan bet? I mean, not to go off topic with basketball, but how many times did Jordan?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
You know what I'm saying?
Jordan's the one guy that was bigger than the sport he was in, so it's kind of
No,
like
I understand that, but see, that's what I mean. All these different rules.
Well,
apply to
right.
all
Well,
these guys. It
yeah,
doesn't
right.
make any
No,
sense.
but it's also different sports, and everyone gets in
No,
the
I know
NBA Hall
that.
of Fame.
Yes,
Everybody gets
But-
in. So it's not the basketball Hall of Fame.
Well,
I
I was
apologize.
just-
There is no NBA Hall
No,
of Fame.
I was just talking about the gambling issue. The comparison.
No, I
so.
get it. But Michael Jordan would have. Oh, I think they took back the goal.
Did they?
I think so.
Offsides.
Oh,
It's offsides.
God, that
It's
stinks.
offsides. But I mean, like you said, Pete
Rangers
Rose,
screwed again.
yeah, well, like you said, Pete Rose's stuff is all over the Hall of Fame.
All
so-
over it. All
so
over it.
The guy should be in.
I think in Major League Baseball, and by the way, just to kind of, for those of you who don't think CM Punk had to get WWE's approval to work at Fox, you don't think Major League Baseball had to give the okay for Pete Rose to work at Fox? You're out of your mind. Pete Rose absolutely needed Fox's baseball's approval. A-Rod's there. Ortiz is there. Who's the other guy that's always there? The pitcher.
Oh.
Was it Frank Thomas, the other guy in that group?
No.
Yes, Frank Thomas is the other guy. Thank you. I could have sworn Outlier did it too. But anyway.
I think he did do it at one point.
All right.
I don't think he ever did Fox. I think it was MLB Network.
Yeah, well, they get so many of those guys in and out. It's hard to keep track of them all. But, again, the voting needs to be
Changed.
a clear-cut formula of your numbers. We're going to go by your numbers, or if there's speculation, then we're going to go about how you did it that way. But you can't have 370-odd people vote 370-odd different ways. That's how you get guys like Sheffield, Helton, Scott Rowland. Scott Rowland's numbers on this ballot are absolutely awful. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer.
What about Andrew Jones?
Andrew Jones was really with the bat only dominant for 5-6 years.
Yeah, but
Most of that steroid based. But
True.
again, you've got guys like Ozzie Smith who are in there for just the glove.
Yep.
So Omar Vizquel is going to be a Hall of Famer. He's getting in for the glove too. So Andrew Jones, by that logic, should be in. He's arguably the greatest defensive center fielder I've ever seen.
Yes.
I would put Griffey above him, but that's fine.
You could do that.
Or now Trout. But I don't see how you can't have all these people vote different ways. Now, right, and this is what I was mentioning about the NFL Hall of Fame, because that's coming to a head sooner rather than later. Major League Baseball, their writers, you've got certain new guys that don't really care about the steroid, and then you got the old figureheads
Yes.
that, oh, you cheated, you're done. So until these guys leave, you're really not going to see too much fluctuation with numbers. Once the millennials get the majority of the vote, everyone's getting in. Everybody's going to get in. Sheffield, Clemens, Bonds. Who's another guy that's Manny Ramirez?
Sammy Sosa, right?
Sammy Sosa will never get in.
No, you don't think so?
I don't think so. I think he rubbed a lot of people the wrong way with some of the comments he's made.
Did McGuire get in?
No,
He's not gonna get in.
I don't think McGuire's going to get in. But again, I mean, here's the thing, right? McGuire was not banished by, but he was given such a bad name to speak of, right? He's had hitting jobs for multiple years now in Major League Baseball. Barry Bonds, he was one of the most hated guys in baseball history, but yet he's employed by the Miami Marlins. So what the hell are we doing here with the double standard of, Ray Rice will not have a coaching job in the NFL?
No.
And to credit the NFL, I mean, they do a lot of wacky things, but if you get a bad name in the NFL, most likely you're done. Andrew Luck will get a head coaching job at the snap of his fingers if he wants it, which, because there's a huge difference there on how Luck conducts himself and the guy like,
Ray Rice.
Here's the thing about Ray Rice, right? Ray Rice, besides, obviously what he did was a huge mistake, and you can't take that back. It cost him his career. But he was suspended 2 games. Think about that for a second.
Yeah.
Ray Rice got banned 2 games for
Hitting a girl.
knocking his girlfriend on the floor. Out cold. She was completely done.
And then he dragged her.
Yeah. Well, Pete Rose got banned for life for gambling. Do you see the obscurity here? It's acidine's not the word. It's just kind of ridiculous. Point blank. It's really quite frightening how Major League Baseball is so out of loop with this. But then you've got a team that completely tarnished any type of World Series legacy for the next few years. Here's a $5 million fine. We'll take 2 draft picks away for
and nothing's
a
going to
couple
happen
of years.
to the players.
Nothing happened to the players. Not a single player got anything. And on top of it all,
I think they will eventually.
What are they going to do to them?
you can't. You
You
cannot try somebody twice.
Their players' union is so strong, nothing's going to happen to those players. What are they going to do to them? Nothing.
We do have our first caller.
Who is this, Jeff again?
We'll see.
Welcome to the home stretch. How may I help you?
Oh, my goodness.
No, it's Snug. There he is.
First of all,
He didn't want to. He didn't want to. He didn't want to sing with Errol, so that's why he called Tyler's show.
I did sing with Errol, and it was wonderful.
It was one.
All the beef did was sit there and go, "Oh, Mark, oh, look at Errol."
He's lost his
Steve,
mind.
if you're going to be on the show, and
I
on the
can't
air,
sing.
You got to participate.
I can't sing, so I'm not singing.
I can't sing yet. I try anyway.
Oh, jeez. Well, you can't do a
It's
lot
not
of
about
things.
the singing quality, friend. It's about participation.
Well, whatever.
I mean, I guess we get you a pair of pom-poms and a little skirt, and you can cheerlead.
Stupid.
Now, what I wanted to say is I was thinking about your previous assertions about voting for the Hall of Fame. And unfortunately, Tyler, I have to disagree a little bit.
Shoot.
Because essentially you're looking for a standardization of voting. And if you have a standardization of voting, then do you actually need to vote?
No, I don't mean. Hold on. I don't want people's opinions to be skewed, but you need to kind of. The NFL is very honest. It's what you do representing the Shield. That's what we're gonna. If you have the numbers, that's great. But how you carried yourself on wearing that shield is going to get you in or out. Mm-hmm. That's why Terrell Owens didn't. And it's the biggest screw job I've ever seen. He should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer, regardless of what he did on and off the field. Mm-hmm. Terrell Owens, when you look at other guys that have been in the league, is an angel to me. So I don't really. That's one thing. Major League Baseball, you don't know what these voters are voting for. They're just voting, period. Like, let's just be honest here. Bobby Abreu should not have gotten a single vote. A single vote. But yet, he's very close to Andy Pettitte on that ballot. And Andy Pettitte should be closer to Curt Schilling than
100%,
Bobby Abreu.
100% agreed.
Now, my question to you, Snugs, would be I don't want a standardization of anything. I think everyone has... You cannot take the human quality out of baseball, and that's my gripe now with Major League Baseball, trying to add all these technological advances and clocks and limitations and all that stuff. I don't want any of it. I want baseball to be played how it's seen, how it's been for hundreds of years. Now, my only gripe with this is I cannot see how you're either going to vote with numbers or you're going to vote with how you saw them play or speculation or whatever the case may be, but there needs to be some sort of a
system.
Yeah, they're like, all right, so we're not going to vote for this guy now, but then vote. There should be another vote too. Like, okay, you're on steroids.
Well, they have a
so
system.
we vote you on steroids. But right, if you don't make a certain amount of the ballot, you're off the ballot forever.
Yes,
but you can still get in by the committee.
Yes.
So that to me doesn't make any sense. And then, if you're not going to vote them in, you should vote them out. Kind of like, no, you're not Hall of Fame worthy. Just filling out a ballot with 10 random names on it, or 2 names, or 1 name. There was a guy that voted for just Derek Jeter and handed in his ballot. So I don't know what that does. Derek Jeter should have been a Hall of Famer, yes, but there are other guys on that ballot that should be in the Hall of Fame. And no one voted for him except Derek Jeter.
Well, that's just been the way it's been the whole time.
Well, that's what we're saying. The system, the system needs to be changed.
Right, we know.
Right, even if it's all right, you need to vote for 5 or 6 guys, depending on however you see fit, or you can only vote for 5 or 6 guys, depending on how you see fit. Something, but you cannot just hand a ballot in with 1 name on it or 2 names on it and say I don't think anyone else is worthy. Then you have to vote out guys too. Like, all right, on this ballot, you should never be in the Hall of Fame. You should never be in the Hall of Fame. You can't just leave guys sit there for 15, 20 years and go, oh, well, he just never made it. That to me is asinine, and it's a joke. You need some sort of standardization as to what you're looking for in the Hall of Fame to get these guys in. Derek Jeter is a first-class Hall of Famer to me. He was in when he retired in 2014. Him and Mariano Rivera, you could have penciled their spots. You could have proclaimed where their ceremonies were going. You could have absolutely done whatever you wanted to do. But you needed some sort of vote. Did anyone really not think Mariano Rivera was going to be unanimous? I called it. I said he was going to be the first unanimous guy there. Derek Jeter should have been second.
Yes.
Let me argue the opposite side of this, a little bit of a chaos theory. And if we step back further from it, right, in the Hall of Fame is really for the fans to celebrate the sport, right, and to be able to talk about players and talk about greatness. And I would argue that there's probably 25% of the players in the Hall of Fame who there's zero question ever they're in. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter. The Derek Jeters and the Mariano Riveras of the world.
Yeah, 100%.
But after that is where it becomes interesting, because if you just start to enshrine people based on a standardization, then that's not very interesting, because essentially when their career ends, you sort of know if they're in or out.
Yeah,
right?
because you're
There's
going off the
not really
numbers.
much
Yes.
debate.
Yes.
But what we're doing right here, right now, is what makes it interesting. It's what the speculation too as to why should they be in, and you to some degree criticize the voters for saying, well, he's good to the media, he's not good to the media, things of that nature.
Yeah, well, that's what
Although
they're going by. Yes.
Right.
It is personal on some level, but on the other hand, when
But-
Barry Bonds is a chapped ass and won't talk to the media at all, he actually does slow down the sport in its entirety, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was the single greatest thing going at the time. Steroids or not, we haven't seen much that looks like that.
Oh, he's the
in
best player in
boxing.
baseball 8 years before he ever touched steroids. His time in Pittsburgh, he was the best player in baseball.
Yes, he was.
Sure.
So,
with
but
or without
I agree,
steroids,
Bonds should
that's-
be in.
So, but what I'm saying is that's part of what makes it interesting is that he did actually hinder the sport by hindering his access to the reporters, and obviously these gentlemen don't have to give 100% full access all day, every day. The smarter ones do. But he does slow the sport down some. He does hinder the growth, and he does hinder the fans' enjoyment, right? Because we like to see, documentaries on these guys. We
Right.
like to see interviews on these guys. We like to know about these guys. For instance, Mike Trout is a great example. Might be one of the greatest baseball players I'll ever see in my entire life.
Yeah.
And I know his name is Mike Trout. I know he plays for the Angels, and I know he hits the ball hard and catches the ball, and he runs really fast. And that's pretty much what I know about Mike Trout.
That's what everybody knows about Mike Trout.
Well, because he's
Yeah,
playing
see what I mean?
for.
So, now, obviously, Mike Trout probably falls in that 25% that gets in no matter what happens any day of the week ever. Nobody questions that.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, on the whole and the totality of it, the chaos of the voting makes it more interesting. And there's going to be guys who should be in and are going to get in, and there's guys who should never, ever sniff the Hall of Fame that get into the Hall of Fame. And that makes it even better because it continues these long-winded debates that we have, and it enhances our experience with the game. So it helps perpetrate the game into the future, because as we get older and we tell our kids and our grandkids, hey, this guy was really good, or this guy was a bum, he shouldn't have gotten in, it sort of draws them into the discussion and allows them to do it in their own era. So I understand what you're saying to some degree of standardization, but I think that the committee, the players' committee, kind of brings some of that back in, where it helps the fans out or helps the writers out
So-
where they screw it up and they say stupid things.
Let me just hit you with what you just, by your logic, just based on what I just heard you say, Snugs. So, by that logic, Jose Fernandez deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, because Jose Fernandez was a class act when it came to answering media questions and on the field, and he was an ace. He was the best pitcher in baseball, I think. So,
He had only 2 years, though.
right. Well, right, but that's by the standardizations. Well,
but-
that was tragic. But
Yes.
if he had pitched 10, 12 years, he's on the pace he was going, he's undoubtedly in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, if he would
Right.
if he would continue
So-
at that pace, yes.
Right. And then there's a guy like David Wright who,
He got
Is-
injured.
very, very great in the media. He's probably the face. He's probably the best face of the Mets I could remember
Well,
personally seeing in my
besides-
lifetime.
Besides Piazza.
No, David Wright was a better leader than Piazza
Yes, he
was.
was.
Piazza was hated by half his teammates. So that's fine. David Wright to me.
Franco.
Yeah, Franco. He's right. Yes, John Franco.
Eh,
He was
all
loved
right.
by the fans. The fans loved him. For
Yeah,
whatever
no,
reason.
I know that. But John Franco, another guy. You could make the argument should be in the Hall of Fame. Now,
No, but see, you're using that as the sole criteria. And
no, you look at John Franco's numbers, Snugs. They're Hall of Fame. They're up there.
They are up there.
They're very up there. Plus, the save stat wasn't around for guys in the,
They were back then.
They were bad.
No,
But he got-
that save is like 1960 and up.
Right, but Franco
Right,
did-
but there are
Franco-
pitchers that didn't have the save opportunity there. That
Right, but Franco had it his whole career.
Yes.
No, I'm not arguing that, but I'm saying there are pitchers that didn't have a chance to get a quote-unquote save. They pitched all day long until their arm blew out. So, I can't – yes, you're right. The voting is what makes baseball interesting and stuff. But there needs to be – a class of two people is It's not a high school graduation has, I'd say, 85-90% of that class graduate.
So what should you have, like 10?
No, but you should have at least 3, max 5. You can't have a 1 or 2 guy induction.
What does the
You
NFL
can't.
have? How many do they have get inducted every year?
I don't think there's a minimum or a maximum. I think it's just I think there's like 20 people a year though.
Is it that many?
Coaches,
From a dilution standpoint,
coaches,
at a
and
certain
special
point,
entrepreneurs or whatever.
If you let too many people in, you've diluted the value of being
I'm not saying let too many people in.
No, but
whoa. I'm not saying to
but
enhance the numbers.
yes.
But I'm saying, hold on. When we look at this ballot, you're going to tell me that there's only 2 Hall of Famers on it? That's asinine. There's no way there's only 2 Hall of Famers on it. We named 10,
We did.
and I could have named 11. Because I didn't include Gary Sheffield.
Them in?
What happened?
Why rush them in?
But-
If you know
well-
that most of these will probably, we could probably agree of the 10, let's say 8 get in, probably for sure, eventually.
Eventually, maybe.
So why rush them in? What difference does it make? Whether
Well-
they get in this year, next year, 5 years from now, as long as they get in.
Or are you saying maybe because Jeter's is going to be so magnified that maybe they wanted these other players to do it in their own moment kind of thing?
No, I actually think the opposite of that. You knew Derek Jeter was going to be in this
Yeah,
Hall of Fame.
100%.
That was a guarantee. If you were betting Derek Jeter wouldn't make his first Hall of Fame ballot, you're nuts. You're smoking serious drugs and you need to go to rehab. He was he was going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer regardless of your opinion of him. Derek Jeter carried himself as a professional on and off the field. Listen, and I've heard stories about Derek Jeter off the field that aren't always great. So be it.
Yeah, but you hear that with a lot of players.
He was the face of the greatest franchise in sports for 20 years. There are 19 guys, okay? And Major League Baseball Network is the one popping this stat out, okay? There are 19 guys that played over 2,000 games at shortstop. Derek Jeter has the most championships and the highest percentage out of all of them. So I'm not saying, by the way, he played 1 game in 20 years. 1 game at Yankee Stadium that had mean absolutely nothing for the playoffs.
Yep.
1 game. And that was his last game, and that's arguably the greatest moment of his career. The walk-off game, hitting single.
Double.
Yeah, no, it was a single. He stopped at first base.
Well, he
Can
ran
you
the-
even name the
yeah.
guy that scored?
For the Yankees?
Yep. Bobby Richardson. That's right. Because he didn't make the team the next year. He was gone. That's that guy's shining moment. He will never be able to not mention that in his life. I scored Derek Jeter's last RBI. Ha ha. Like, come on. Like, that's something cool to mention. Shit, I would mention it for him. Hey, Bobby. Yeah, remember when you scored Jeter's winning run? Yeah. Oh, he's embarrassed. He's humble. Leave him alone. I would mention it for him. That's how cool of a moment that is.
Well, let me say, I met Derek Jeter's parents, and they are very, very nice people. So,
I met Dylan Betances' family. Very nice people.
So
but
for people to say that Jeter is not a nice person, I kind of disagree with that because based off his family, you know.
well, no, right. He's a very moral guy, and he's very quiet. And I think the problem what you find is that a guy like that, everyone expects him to just be more open and Derek Jeter, he doesn't have time.
There's no reason
He
for
really
that.
doesn't have time. Derek Jeter, if Derek Jeter signed 5 autographs in a half-hour span, do you understand that if he sat there and autographed for everybody,
Oh, my God.
he'd still be there today? He wouldn't have moved. He would have played 3 games at Yankee Stadium his entire career. He'd still be staying outside the hotel right now. He's the biggest star in New York since Joe Namath. That's how big he was.
And that's what people don't understand. They think these guys can just keep signing and signing and signing. But
Right.
They don't realize.
Not
that
everyone is,
if you're lucky, you get it. You get it. If
Right.
you're not, then you try it all the time. What are you gonna do?
like not everyone. I know you mentioned the story about Henrik Lundqvist. I know somebody that met Henrik
I
Lundqvist
met him
outside
too.
Madison
Yes.
Square Garden.
Mm-hmm. Me. Yep.
The guy sat there for 15 minutes with him, held up the bus to talk to the guy.
Yep.
And Henrik Lundqvist, everyone wants him out of New York. But again, Henrik Lundqvist, when Jeter retired, to me, became the face of New York sports. Henrik Lundqvist, hand in hand. That's to me how it went. There was nobody on the Mets or the Knicks or anybody on the Islanders that was like, oh, well, they're better than Lundqvist. No. Now you can say it. But not at that time. Henrik Lundqvist was carrying himself as a professional for 12 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know why no one noticed it? Derek Jeter was here. So
Ty Lawson was almost the face of New York for a little bit.
Really,
Oh, my
Suggs? You have to go
God.
there?
Stop it.
The only face that I would make an argument for during that time would be Derek Fisher's, and that's only because he got knocked down on the plane.
Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Derek Fisher definitely face of New York.
Best New York Knicks coach of the past 15 years. Probably since Jeff Van Gundy.
Oh, boy.
I think Mike Woodson takes that, but still, not saying much.
I was just kidding. But anyway, we are going to take a quick break, Snugs. You're more than happy to stay on. When we come back, we've talked about absolutely nothing right now except the MLB Hall of Fame voters. We will relive the careers of both Derek Jeter and Larry Walker. We will go over this weekend's football games because there was football played this weekend. And the UFC pulled the wool over everyone's eyes. And I love to say this, I told you so.
WWE.
Find out next while on the home stretch.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
I manage a baseball team.
Little League?
Fantasy League.
We are back with the home stretch on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Hello. Welcome back to Home Stretch. I am still your host, Tyler Harrison. No more Beeb. But Speedy Petey's still here over there in his dapper orange shirt.
First time I'm wearing this today.
Oh, what?
This shirt, yeah. It was a Christmas gift.
Oh, I thought you meant today it's the first time you wore the shirt.
Yeah.
No, like today you changed your shirt. And then Right.
Okay, no.
I was like, what the hell?
No, I washed the shirt. Don't worry.
Where did you? No, not that. Never mind. We're on different planets. But anyway, yeah. So the Hall of Fame came out. Larry Walker, Derek Jeter are in. Do you have any gripes with these guys being in?
No, I argued this with Errol. I think Larry Walker, he didn't think he should have been a Hall of Famer, which, okay, you can understand because he wasn't a 400 home run guy. He wasn't a world-class defender, but he was a good defender. What I think with Larry Walker is I think he did a great job helping that Rockies team grow right out of its
Huge
expansion.
mentor for them, yep.
Was the veteran presence they needed, the well-known name that they needed to really get a spark, just getting baseball there in a good sports city, but not one that isn't never had baseball. So it's always an interesting test of which sports will work there and which won't. So Larry Walker did help that Rockies team, and like the Beef was saying earlier with the Expos, he was very good for a long time. I think he was very consistent as a whole. When you look at his numbers, I think he had not really a lot of fluctuations in his years. He had 4 years where he hit over 350. He had actually, defensively he was very good too. Actually, I didn't realize this. He had 7 Gold Gloves.
Yeah.
I thought he had like 3 or 4, but 7 he had a lot of. But in terms of his hitting numbers, 313 career hitter. Again, his lowest batting average was, not counting the first year where he only played 56 games. He had 241 his second season in the league, and they had one iffy year of 265. But every other year was 276 or above, and most of them were in the 300s, which is remarkable. 400 career on base percentage. I know he didn't hit 400 home runs, okay, but
313 average reduced that.
Yeah, 383 and then 1,011 RBIs to add 7 Gold Gloves. That's Hall of Fame worthy to me. And again, you and Snug were talking about it earlier. We're talking about revolutionizing a team. I think his impact on the Rockies really showed a lot in terms of growing that team to not what it became, because it's still not a very well-run team, but just creating a decent fan base in a city that never had a baseball team. So he really helped, and the other guy in Todd Helton, who was a better player than he was, but he retired later, so obviously that's why he's not in. I think he'll get in soon anyway.
I hope so.
Him and Todd Helton are really the faces of that team. Probably Todd Helton a little more, but he was the first face of that team, and he deserves to be in it for that. So Walker definitely in, and again, Jeter, the gripe is really the one guy who didn't vote for him. Just probably either thought he was on steroids or is a Red Sox or Athletics fan, maybe. I don't know. But obviously Jeter deserves to get in. Absolutely phenomenal career for him, too. 3,000 hits. not a great defender, but made big plays when he needs to. Great playoff hitter, and obviously the leadership goes unnoticed.
Right, and you say Helton's the better player. I would agree with you. I think Todd Helton was. I think he was better defensively, even though he has less Gold Gloves. But
That's fair.
Todd Helton to me is probably the biggest or second biggest. It depends on where Garrett Sheffield falls on this list as far as.
I think Helton's a better player than Sheffield.
No. I mean as far as knocks off of like where they should be on this. I agree. Larry Walker should be in. I think I actually voted him in when we did our mock ballot. I know, let's just get to the uncomfortable part of this. Larry Walker absolutely deserves to be in. But I'm not happy with two guys only being inducted to a class.
Well, yeah.
I don't like that.
I think you could have had the case for, obviously, Helton, like we said. Andrew Jones, I think, and Jeff Kent, I think, are three I would put in. So
Jeff Kent's like, I don't even know if Jeff Kent made 30% of the ballot.
I'll look that up.
I think it's like 29.7 or something like that. I don't think he made 30%.
Which I'm surprised at. I would put him in.
But again, he's another guy that got deemed as kind of a, jerk off the field, so no one really talked to him. But it is what it is. But Derek Jeter is a first-class Hall of Famer. I don't understand how the hell he didn't get a unanimous vote. I'm not surprised. I actually didn't think he'd get this much. I thought he would be behind Griffey. Now, the reason I said that I don't think it's the steroid thing or even the fact that he's a Yankee, I think the biggest thing is people look at him and go, you weren't the best athlete on your team. You weren't the best hitter on your team. You weren't this. You weren't that. So for 20 years, you were the best leader in baseball, but were you the best player on your team? Because when A-Rod got there, you weren't. Then, you had some years where everything else. And I think that's what the one guy decided. He said, I know you're going to get in, but I don't think you should be unanimous, and I don't think you were the best player on your team for 20 years. Which, it's hard to do that. But Derek Jeter was absolutely, I think, the best player on the Yankees for at least from 98 to 2004. He was the trendsetter of the team, and he was the clutchest guy in baseball. So you got Rookie of the Year, 14-time All-Star, 5-time World Series champ, 5-time Gold Glove, 5-time Silver Slugger, and he's the only man in history to win the World Series and All-Star MVP in the same season. So good luck topping that one. 3,000 hits. What other cherry can you put on Derek Jeter's Mr. November? Just name whatever nickname you want to throw. The captain, the face of the Yankees, the house that Jeter built, whatever you want, whatever monologue you want me to go on, I can go on, because Derek Jeter absolutely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. This, to me, is a joke he's not unanimous. I thought he'd miss it by like 5 or 6 votes. Not one. Not one. One's just petty.
You're creating a target.
Who?
The guy who didn't vote for him.
No, it's the pettiest thing I've ever seen, and that guy should be banned from voting on baseball. Because if you didn't vote for Jeter, that means you're not going to vote for a borderline guy that should be in either. Like Jeter wasn't borderline. Jeter was, you're definitely going to get in. It's not an Eli Manning case where you think he's going to get in, and you can argue he should or shouldn't. Derek Jeter was a undoubted Hall of Famer. Undoubted Hall of Famer. So you not voting him in just, to me, makes me question why you're voting at all. But in other baseball news, Marcell Ozuna landed on the Atlanta Braves.
Scary.
Whew. I think they made the right decision by signing Ozuna over Josh Donaldson. I'll say that much.
We'll have to see which Austin Riley you get, because that'll be the big difference with that decision.
Sure.
He's not a great defensive third baseman. But in the pre-All-Star break, late April, really to July, he was phenomenal as a hitter. Problem is he fell off in the second half, so you just got to hope you got the first half Riley all season.
Or you can move Freddie Freeman to third.
Right, but then you lose defense at first, where
Austin Riley could play first.
as well as Freeman can. I don't know.
No, but I'd rather the better defender at third base instead of first base.
That's understandable, but I think Austin Riley's first base defense and Freddie Freeman's third base defense are closer than the other way around.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. But again, but yeah, I just I'm really shocked that he missed it by 1 vote. Really, really am. But anyway, also in other Yankee news, right? Because it seems to be going all Yankees right now. Apparently, they're in on Nolan Arenado. And I actually watched the clip, believe it or not, of the haystack earlier this morning. I know, I'm as surprised as you are. Speedy, don't have a stroke on me, but I think Mike Guido's actually right about what he said. I don't.
Did you and the beef switch bodies?
No. But I do think that Stanton. Listen, the trade for Nolan Arenado, it's going to cost you a pretty penny. I get that, but you don't have. Everyone's talking about how the Yankees have this lineup of the mass, and they do. They have a really nice lineup as is. But there's a lot of question marks going into the season, and I'm not saying that they won't be resolved or they won't get fixed or they're not going to get fully healthy at some point. But let's just do this, right? Gareth Sanchez looks freaking fantastic, by the way, if anyone hasn't seen him yet. The guy looks absolutely chiseled now. At first base, okay, Luke Voit, as good as he was playing, the Cardinals gave him up for Chase and Shreve, okay? I'm not really sold on him right now. If he continues to play at a high level, that's not a question mark. But again, that injury, the fact that he kind of started to play a little bit, just looked tired. Now again, the injury could have been the injury, and I'm not saying that I'm not taking that in consideration, but that's a question mark. Which Luke Voit are you going to get? At second base, DJ LeMahieu is probably the best player on the team, so that's fine. Gleyber Torres is your shortstop, which is why you let Didi go. All right, got that. Third base is where the question comes in to me the most, which is ironically where Nolan Arenado plays. Are you really relying on Gio Urshela? That's really the answer that Yankee fans want to hear? That's... God damn. I remember when Scott Brosius left and they didn't have A-Rod, we at least had Robin Ventura. Like, that was a name of, all right, I've seen him with the Mets. Solid defender. He's not a wiffle ball bat hitter. I get it. Like, he's going to be a formidable third baseman for us. That's not Gio Urshela. Gio Urshela is a very solid defender, and he overachieved to the masses last year. I don't know if he's capable of doing that again, because, again, Cleveland let him walk. Cleveland didn't think he could do that. And I very highly doubt he pulled the wool over Terry Francona's eyes. So, is he that good? Is somebody on the phone?
No.
Oh, because you're sitting there like somebody was on the phone. But I don't know. I don't trust Gio Urshela. Now, obviously, Gio Urshela is not my starter. If Miguel Andujar is healthy, he's the one playing third base. But let's just be perfectly honest for a second, shall we? You haven't seen him throw baseball in about 10 months. He hasn't picked up a bat in live action in 10 months. He's fielding the ground balls now. He's taking BP. I get it. I understand. He's healthy. He's going to be ready for spring training. The guy couldn't field third base healthy before the injury. His swing could be altered now. You don't know. And Andujar, to me, was the best contact hitter on the team when he got hurt. So I would prefer to keep Miguel Andujar.
Even over LeMahieu?
Okay, second best contact hitter on the team. Sorry. Well, his rookie year, LeMahieu wasn't there.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I didn't consider LeMahieu. But last year, LeMahieu was the best player on the team by far. So let's just really think about what we're comparing here, okay? A couple of what-ifs in Miguel Andujar and Gio Urshela, or the best third baseman in freaking baseball, Nolan Arenado. Now, again, again, I get what the Yankee fans are scared of. Oh, well, we have to give up a lot. Yeah, you're going to have to give up a lot. The man is signed, sealed, and delivered for the next 5 years. The man is signed, sealed, delivered. He cannot complain. He cannot opt out. He cannot do anything. Nolan Arenado is there to stay there for a very long time. Nolan Arenado, regardless of what you say about the Coors Field stats, bats, whatever, he's a platinum glove third base. Not gold glove, platinum glove. He's the best fielder in the National League. That's what they said. That's what they said. Besides Matt Chapman, there's no one even close. That's the guy you go get. That's the guy that takes you from, we don't know if we're going to make the World Series, to you're coming through us to get it. Yes, the Gerrit Cole signing was needed. Yes, the Gerrit Cole thing calmed everybody down. Yes, the New York Yankees are a better team today than they were yesterday because of it. Nolan Arenado makes this team the best team of baseball without question. Nolan Arenado, and here's the other thing, and even if you don't want Nolan Arenado for yourselves, think about it this way. Look at the teams that are thinking about getting him. The Atlanta Braves. If he goes there right now, they're the best team in baseball. The Dodgers. If he goes there, they're the best team in baseball.
They're already adding them to the mix.
That would be ludicrous. The Cleveland Indians. No, not the Cleveland. The Texas Rangers. They'd be a very, very interesting team with Nolan Arenado. They wanted Rendon, and they would get in that ballpark, and Nolan Arenado would have pretty solid numbers.
I have to see Chris Woodward manage in the playoffs, possibly. Oh, God.
I mean, yeah, to me, the Astros are in playoff contention, so yeah, they could absolutely do it. Your hate for Chris Woodward is weird, by the way. Like, I get why you'd hate, like, John Rocker or...
No, he was a Met and didn't do anything well, and yet he made the roster.
That's half your team for the past 20 years. Why are you holding on to a grudge with Chris Woodward?
He wasn't good at all.
But he was a platoon guy. He only played a lot because Reyes got hurt.
Yes, and he didn't play any position that well.
I don't know. You're a Mets fan. You should be used to that stuff. I'm trying to think of the other team that was interested in him. Braves, Dodgers,
Cardinals.
The Cardinals get them. They're the best team in baseball, too. But do you see how...
I still think the Braves would be better. I don't know about that.
With...
If the Cardinals got Arenado. I don't think the Cardinals' roster is as good as the Braves as a whole. I don't think it would make that much big of a difference.
Arenado, Chapman,
Makes it
Carpenter.
It makes it closer, sure.
DeJean,
I don't think
Juan,
I think
Molina.
their roster right now it's good, but the Braves roster is really good. The Dodgers roster I think is the best.
Right.
I'll say it's closer, but I don't think they're better than the Braves or the Dodgers with Arenado, definitively. Maybe it gives them a postseason boost. We'll see about that, but that's another question.
It improves the team. And Nolan Arenado is not one of these guys where you have to consider the circumstance. Oh, well, is he worth it? Like a team like that the Mets announced today they're interested in trading Yoenis Cespedes, right? That, to me, is all right, hold on. Let's evaluate where we are as a team. Let's see if this makes sense to take on that type of contract, to give up this, blah, blah, blah. That I understand. The Red Sox taking their time and trading Mookie Betts, I understand. The Rockies trading Nolan Arenado to me is genius, okay? Because they should have done it last offseason. But whatever. Neither here nor there. Again, they're late to the party, and they are going to punish for it because now, Arenado's numbers this year away from home weren't great. But
well, let's not forget last offseason, too, came off a year where they were in the playoffs.
Right, and the whole team. Well, right, but again, what did I tell you? A lot of question marks in the rotation. The bullpen overachieved. Let's talk about things. And everyone said, no, you keep going. All right, well, what happened? They went from first to worst.
Well, we knew that. I'm just saying from a front office perspective, you're not thinking, all right, Nolan Arenado, this is the best chance we had. All right, we're going to trade you now.
He's not the only one. Trevor Story will get traded sooner rather than later, too.
I'm talking about the logic in the 2018 offseason.
No, sure.
I'm not talking about now. Obviously, now it looks a lot easier to say. But the logic was, all right, we have one pitcher we could build on, young pitcher that had a great season. Let's sign a couple others. And it just didn't happen. And obviously they went to sign Arenado instead and gave him all that money, and they just had nothing else left. So you knew the team wasn't going to improve as drastically as it did just because they failed in their offseason moves. I think the mindset of them signing Arenado then and not trading him made sense, though, in terms of what they were trying to do. They just couldn't do it.
Snugs alert. Chris Woodward once stole Petey's date at the Sadie Hawkins dance, and Speedy has never forgiven him for it.
What is the what?
Sadie Hawkins dance?
I don't even know what that is, but okay.
You never seen Back to the Future?
Oh, that was the name of the dance?
I think so.
Oh, I forgot that then. Yeah, of course I saw Back to the Future. We make Back to the Future references all the time.
The Rangers have scored 2 goals in about 5 minutes and have not scored 2 goals in 35 and a half minutes before that. So, whatever. I'm done with the Rangers today. But yeah, let's just take this at face value, right? Nolan Arenado is the best third baseman in baseball, Mike Guido. And I don't think really you could argue that.
It's definitive now that his best third baseman in baseball was using a buzzer.
Yeah, well, he might not be playing baseball next year, so let's really talk about it. But he's the best third baseman in baseball. I didn't think you could argue before that he wasn't, but that the glove and the power are coming. And honestly, in the American League East, what pitching staff are you really afraid of? A Sale-less Chris Sale and David Price? A Toronto team that's rebuilding, a Baltimore Orioles team that's best pitcher no one can even name? I mean, come on now. Let's really talk about this. The Tampa Bay Rays rotation is dominant. All right, okay, that's one team that you face maybe 3 times a month. That's fantastic. The American League Central is a joke. And the American League West right now is up in shambles because the Astros are no longer a dominant team to worry about. So I'm not really concerned about any team in the American League. Adding Nolan Arenado completely enhances that. Again, I get it, okay? What you give up will determine whether or not the deal made sense. Again, I think Andujar or Urshela or both are very easily traded to me. Mike Tauchman, or maybe they don't want Tauchman back because they let him go. Clint Frazier's been sitting there for years underutilized. Let him go play somewhere. You know, maybe they'll take on Aaron Hicks and not care that Aaron Hicks, has an injury because his defense will be fine and they need a defensive center fielder. Maybe that's who they bring in. I don't know. But this notion that you're going to have to give up Stanton and Garcia and, the number one pick in the draft.
Why would the Rockies trade for Stanton anyway if they're trying to trade Arenado to get rid of his money and just take on even more money?
The Major League Baseball is going to need some sort of high-paid player to go back, so they're not just going to let Giancarlo Stanton.
Yeah, but it's not basketball where they have to actually do the salary cap swap stuff.
No, I know.
Baseball, you don't have to do that.
Well, the Yankees are the one that luxury tax. So I'm not saying to trade Stanton. I like Stanton. The fact that Yankee fans want Stanton traded to me is a joke. You're right, Jeff. It is the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. I do apologize. I misspoke. It's the Under the Sea dance. That's right, because...
Yeah, I looked it up. Sadie Hawkins is just a generic name, but I never heard it before.
I could have sworn it's from a movie.
No, I didn't see it.
I'm just born...
Name.
Thank you, Jeff. But I am born from a different era. I'm an old soul.
I was going to say... It didn't sound familiar in Back to the Future. I knew it was some aquatic theme. I didn't know the exact name.
I could have sworn they say Hawkins dance in Back to the Future.
Maybe that was the way the kids were wording it. I don't know.
They took him to the sea. Oh man, no,
I still never.
No, I remember the daughter. I remember the daughter now. She was like the Enchantment Under the Sea dance. And Marty McFly's sitting there like, I have to hear the story again.
Yep.
I have to hear the story again.
Yep.
I'm gonna go back to 1975, 1945.
55.
No, 55. Yeah, that's right. 45 would have been different. I want to watch that now. I do want to watch that now. Huh. Interesting. Anyway, but yeah, I think the New York Yankees need to go get Arenado. The price tag ain't that high, okay? And if you do give up pitching prospects, let's talk about how many top pitching prospects the Yankees have. Their top 10 is what, 6, 7 stars? You don't have to give up Garcia. Oh, here's another name for you. Remember this guy's name because no one mentions him anymore? Florial. Goodbye. Hasta la vista. Have fun in Colorado. I'll send you with a 20 bag. Goodbye. Goodbye. Adios. If you're not going to give up Frazier, you got to give up Florial. Florial is a young piece that has lost a tremendous amount of value, still holds high regards around some baseball circles. Maybe the Rockies go, you know what? Defense, speed. We'll take it. Okay, great. You've got 2/3 of Charlie Blackmon. We'll take that. And then whatever pitching prospects you want, I'll give you 3 or 4 of them not named Garcia. I'll give up whatever they want, just not Garcia and not anyone that is overly whelmingly good. Like LeMahieu ain't coming back. Sorry, not happening. And to be quite honest with you,
Funny.
you know what else they might want to do in this trade too? And I'm serious about this, and this would be brilliant for the Yankees. Get Wade Davis thrown in there too. All right, we'll take that contract off your hands.
Yeah, that could be interesting.
Because Wade Davis fills in for Dylan Betances, and then that bullpen to me is a little bit more solidified than what it is right
If you get
now.
the Wade Davis you got with the Royals, but if you get the Wade Davis that was with the Cubs and
No,
with the Rockies,
he
then,
was fine with the Cubs.
he wasn't
The Cubs,
messing
Wade
with the
Davis, I'll
Cubs.
take. The Cubs,
But
Wade Davis,
still,
I'll
he
take.
still
You're
was-
not asking him to close. You're asking him to pitch the
right,
seventh
but he
inning.
still was down though on the Cubs too.
I'm just saying, you take that contract, and even if he doesn't pan out, you pitch him once a month. It's fine. All I know is we miss David Robertson. But yeah, I would absolutely, without question, if I'm the Yankees, I'm pulling the trigger on this. I'm trading for Arenado tomorrow. And honestly, here's the one thing that I'm kind of surprised about: Lindor, Betts. Who's the other guy that everyone was talking about
Josh
getting?
Hader.
Hader. And Josh Hader's very vocal. You didn't really hear them mention anything about being disrespected or, whatever. It is what it is. No one really made a comment. Nolan Arenado's
I would
pissed.
hope not.
He's done.
I would hope not. The front office for the Brewers is good.
No, but I'm saying, Nolan Arenado is very upset about this.
Right, but I can understand it from the other players. The Indians front office isn't that good. The Red Sox front office overpays everybody. And
No, the Red Sox front office is good. They're good.
They could be better though for a team.
The guy they just got built Tampa Bay. They're
Sure,
they're
we'll
good.
see what he does. He has to change that whole image because that front office before that was overpaying everybody, and they were overcompensating in trades all the time. They weren't really that well run. And then the Rockies, we know, are, I wouldn't say they're badly run, but they're not very well run either.
They're not bad. They're not bad, but they're in that royal class. They need a lot of picks to pan out, and if they don't draft well, they're screwed. No free agent goes
They
there.
do have some bad contracts on that team, though.
Who?
Desmond, I think, was one. They were expecting him to be the same thing he was in that.
He's
When he broke out that, what was it, the 2015 season for Washington? He had a really good year, but
yeah.
they expect him to be that when he's always been a
Even in
26
Texas,
streak.
I think he had a great year in Texas too,
Right.
or half a year.
Yeah,
however long it
I
was
think
there.
he had one good year in Texas too, but they expected him to pan out. Obviously, Wade Davis, they give a lot of money to, and that didn't work. So they've definitely made some questionable decisions at times. But yeah, I don't think they're badly run, or I don't think they're greatly run. They're kind of in between, but I would still say below average for them. But the Brewers are definitely not. They're very well run.
I agree, but unfortunately, can't please everybody. Speaking of you can't please everybody, we are right now going to take another quick break. Talked about a half hour too long, but that's fine. When we come back, I say because I'm trying to think about what I want to talk about first, because football I can wait till tomorrow. The UFC thing, though, really pisses me off. What do you think, Speedy?
Well, I had to hear the Conor McGregor hater do it, so it has to be a little lighter than from what he did.
Oh no, I'm not. No, it's not Conor McGregor's fault, but it is what it is. So, yeah, I guess so. All right. So when we come back, we'll talk about the UFC, the Ultimate Fake Championship. Yep. Find out why next on the home stretch.
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
I manage a baseball team.
Little League?
Fantasy League.
We are back with the home stretch on the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.
Hello. Welcome back to the home stretch. We are in the final stretch of the home stretch. Bam. I'm here all week. Anyway, in all seriousness, so I don't know if it's today. It's probably Thursday from what everyone's telling me. A new version of the home stretch will be starting. That's all I can tell you because, that's all I know. I don't know. Everyone tells me it'll be better, so that's cool. I'll still come here and throw all the shots that I want, and that's about it. Yeah, that's that. I don't know really what else to tell you other than it's been fun. I'm just kidding. But yeah, so speaking of taking shots, right, I think that this is pretty apropos that I get to do this. I told you so. I told you so. You can't remember what I told you? Well, I told you a lot of things that no one's listening to me about, but it all turned out to be true.
Trade him now.
Well, you know, it is what it is. But anyway, I'm trying to see if Aaron Donald just got traded to the Yankees as I said that. Because that would be great. That would be great. I would literally call myself Nostradamus, and there's not a thing anyone could tell me. But, yeah.
Yeah, but things break always after your show, so.
Yeah, that's true. Good point. Good point. Yeah, so let's just quickly go back in time. I know I was at this network. I don't remember who I was arguing with, but I said it might have been Errol Marcus. The UFC is on the take, and everyone was like, "No way, no how! You're out of your mind. It's the purest sport there is." Blah 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 blah. I said boxing had. It was Errol. I remember this now.
Really? Because Errol does mention a lot. He really is a fan of old school boxing, though, too. So I'm surprised he would have said something like that.
But
that doesn't sound like something he would say.
That they're on the take?
Yeah, because he...
Maybe it wasn't him then. Maybe
yeah,
because
he always makes fun of the common notion people have that UFC is going to take over boxing and boxing.
No. I mean on the take as in like the fights are staged.
Oh. I don't know. Well, that could be him, but I'm not sure.
But anyway, that's what I mean, ladies and gentlemen. On the take to me means we're going to give you this money, you're going to let this guy beat you, and we're going to take all the revenue for it. That's what I mean by the take. So you're literally... So let's just go back a year, right? I think it was the Rousey fight that I said that was completely and utterly staged. It was her last fight. Everyone knew she wanted out, and she basically hinted that she wanted to go wrestle. So she went to go wrestle.
The one she lost?
Yes.
Okay.
So she got annihilated. She got beat to piss. But it made that other girl a star. Well, for the short time being, she was the biggest name going. Then the rematch, whatever. And then the ratings weren't great.
Did she lose to someone else, though, afterward? Like 5 months later or something?
Yeah, but that was a hope. That fight was an absolute and utter just, do you still want to do it type thing. That her second loss, she was out. She just wanted, she was mentally done, and that's fine. But I said after that fight, the UFC stages their fights. Everyone resented me for it. Everyone gets to kind of be, Oh, hold on. Snugs alert, and this was actually valid and important, so we're going to read this. Is there anything more fabulous or amazing than an unmitigated and pure Tyler Harrison, I told you so? I live for them. Hashtag ban the beef. I don't know. I think my pure I told you so is pretty good. It's definitely up there with the I'm always right comments and stuff. But anyway, I do want to if this fight on so the Cowboy Dan Cerrone, however you pronounce his name, and Conor McGregor got this pay-per-view app fight on Saturday, ESPN Plus. It's not really a pay-per-view. It wasn't really a big card. I'm surprised ESPN Plus paid enough for Conor McGregor to do it. But let's just be honest here. The fight lasted 40 seconds, and Conor McGregor went away for a very long time. Conor McGregor needed to go away. He needed to stay out of the limelight, and I believe this is what wrestling does. Okay, Vince McMahon is a genius. He's a marketing billionaire. He's literally how you set up an entertainment business. Okay, Vince McMahon tells Dana White a lot of business information. And at the beginning of this, Ken Shamrock, Tito Ortiz, Rampage Jackson, Chuck Liddell, these guys, Randy Couture, when these guys are going out there fighting, yes, it's pure. Yes, these were the guys that were actually paid to fight. Yes, I'm not saying it was always this way. Just like pure boxing, back when Tyson, and back when Ali, and Frazier, and Sugar Evans. And listen, we can go on and on. They were pure sports at a time. Just like team sports were pure at a time. You cannot possibly tell me that the UFC is still this pure. It's not. It's quite frankly not. The two biggest stars in the company are John Jones and Conor McGregor. John Jones has been banned from fighting. He's been, people have been sick of him. I'm personally sick of him. I want him to go away. I think he's bad for the business. I think he's bad for the sport. Go away and get a 9-to-5 job. That's what I would say. And people say he's the greatest fighter ever.
Go play football with his brother.
Who's his brother?
Chandler Jones.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. 'Cause Chandler Jones.
I don't know anything about UFC, but I knew that.
But Chandler Jones is such a high character guy.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
As weird
all
as
right.
it sounds, yeah,
Yeah,
they're
well,
brothers.
okay. No, you learn something new every day. Thank you for that nugget, Speedy. Yeah, maybe Bill Belichick can coach him. I freaking know. But
That'd be funny.
the biggest star in the company is by far Conor McGregor. That guy, and I know I'll mention this a lot, he is the biggest star the company has and is the smartest promoter they have. Conor McGregor had a $100 million fight with Floyd Money Mayweather, and he's not a boxer. And it was the highest grossing fight of all time. That speaks volumes. And I find it amazing that now we're hearing this rematch coming about. Let me just ask everyone this question that right now at home is going, there's no way this fight was fixed. So let's just say, Conor McGregor goes in there and it's a pure fight, and Conor McGregor gets his ass knocked out. Because it's a pure fight. Anybody can knock out anybody in a real fight. Whoever hits you in the right spot at the right time is going to knock you out. Doesn't matter how strong, tall you are, you get hit in the right spot at the right time, you're done. That's it. Now, let's say Conor McGregor gets knocked out by the Cowboy. Do you think after a knockout, after being away, and after being just mentally wearing out the public, Conor McGregor's buyout or buy-in rate for the next pay-per-view is going to be high? You're out of your mind. People are going to go, there's no way he's going to beat Floyd Mayweather because he just lost to the Cowboy. There's no way he's going to go in there and knock out Nate Diaz. He just got knocked out. There's no way he's going to go in there with Khabib and win now. There's no way he's going to go in there with Ferguson now. You cannot tell me Conor McGregor loses that fight with the Cowboy and the UFC is okay. The UFC would literally fall to crap if that happened. Okay? That's like when Anderson Silva lost to Chris Weidman. What did that do for the UFC? It kind of just said, all right, Anderson Silva, your time is up now. You lost to Chris Weidman. Time to move on. Everyone around here was buzzing because he's a Long Island guy. But outside of this, no one knew who Chris Weidman was. And in hindsight, Anderson Silva is still a more popular name than Chris Weidman. Conor McGregor needed to win that fight. So the UFC made him win that fight. And even if you watch the 40 seconds, the Cowboy is kind of, all right, getting ready to take the kick in the face to me. He didn't attack him. He didn't put his hand up. He didn't do nothing. He didn't even throw a punch. He did throw a punch. I apologize. But he didn't look like he was really intrigued in the fight. He kind of looked like he had a job to do and he was going to do it. To me, everything gets eventually monopolized by money. Dana White knows that his biggest star is Conor McGregor, whether he likes him or not. Okay? Conor McGregor is the UFC right now. Conor McGregor could not have lost that fight. Conor McGregor, regardless who it was, needed to win that fight. Conor McGregor, and I'm not blaming Conor McGregor. I love Conor McGregor. Team Gregor, who the hell are you, lad? I love Conor McGregor. I think he's great. I think he's a tremendous spokesman. I think he's great for advertising. I think he's great for promoting whatever he's doing. And I think he's a good fighter. He could not have lost that fight, okay? I think he knew that. I think Dana White knew that. And ultimately, I think the Cowboy knew that. Conor McGregor is on the top of the card. That's not just good for Conor McGregor and Dana White. That's good for all the mini cards after him, or under him, rather. The up-and-coming fighter that, no one knows about yet. He's got 5 professional fights under him. I don't know who this guy. Oh, wow, he just knocked that guy out with a roundhouse. That's cool. All right, I'll remember his name next time. Diego Sanchez. You remember Diego Sanchez? He, obviously him and Forrest Griffin kind of came in together, but Diego Sanchez was the guy that everyone was like, all right, you're from The Ultimate Fighter, let's watch what you're doing. Never became the next star, but there are guys that need that opportunity, so they take it and they became somewhat successful. But became somewhat, what's a good word? Somewhat
Well-known?
Well, no, there you go. Diego Sanchez started the yes chants that everyone loves now. Daniel Bryan from the WWE took that from Diego Sanchez. Now look what Daniel Bryan did with it. The Islanders do it. It's all over baseball stadiums now. It's always been a thing. So now, it got so big it rearranged WrestleMania. Let's really talk about that. So my whole point to this is Conor McGregor's stardom is needed for the UFC. If you can't see now that the UFC is going to kind of buy and, going in and out of their ways, like Khabib's next fight, Khabib will win his next fight. Khabib's not losing his next fight because ultimately the money fight is him and McGregor too. They're not stupid. They know that. Now, the question is, do the big fights still become genuine? Maybe. Some of them. The real ones, yeah. Like, for example, DC Brock Lesnar. Okay? Do you think by circumstance Brock Lesnar just kind of tapped the security guard in there and walked to the ring the second the fight was over? That would not have happened. That would not have happened at all. Brock Lesnar was told after that fight, we want you to go in the octagon and we want you to create some controversy in case you can fight DC. Okay, good, I'll do it. Brock Lesnar was in the octagon the second that fight was over. The second DC has his hand raised, Brock Lesnar is on the stairwell going into the octagon. That does not happen without Dana White knowing weeks in advance that that's happened. Brock Lesnar, no one remembers the fight. No one remembers how DC won the fight. But everyone remembers Brock Lesnar and DC's promo after the fight. And it's a promo because it was scripted and it was no way. DC is not talking to Brock Lesnar, a collegiate champion, 2-time heavyweight champion like that. There's no way in hell. Okay? There's no way he's talking to him that way. Without Dana White going, it's just whatever. And again, you go back to the Brock Lesnar-John Jones fight that was supposed to happen. And then who screwed that up? John Jones. So I think that the UFC is completely corrupt and completely undertake? I don't think so. I'm not going to say that. I do think, though, there are certain stars, Conor McGregor, John Jones, maybe Woodley, that fights are very hand-picked. Okay? Like CM Punk's first fight. Okay? Didn't go very well, right? No, it didn't. It was a hand-picked fight. Every fighter said so. Everybody that kind of knew the UFC said CM Punk picked this guy because he thinks he matches up well, and they put him on a main card. That fight should be a prelim. But it was because CM Punk's a name, and Dana White is no longer interested in the competition of the sport, just the ratings of the sport. And I'm going to be honest with you. I know a lot of guys around here that love this stuff, and they think it's so pure and so genuine, and I feel bad because it should be. But it's no longer that way. And I just think the second that UFC kind of catches wind of, oh, all right, maybe we should stop, it'll go back to being that way. But Dana White is on the verge of being a billionaire because of this. He's not going to not take that opportunity. Greed consumes everything. Dana White is no longer the hungry business owner that wants the best fighters possible. Dana White is now the businessman that wants characters and wants guys bigger than life so that way he can draw ratings. This is no longer this fight scene. You want to fight, go watch Bellator. You want to fight, go watch, what's the other fighting company? But go watch Bellator. That's the fight. That's a real unscripted fight. And I think now you're starting to see why guys like GSP, guys like Rampage Jackson, and the list goes on, that have problems with Dana White, Tito Ortiz. I think that there's a problem here. Ken Shamrock Ken Shamrock's punch drunk, so love him, but he needs to go. But I feel bad that I'm saying this, but the UFC is no longer this up-and-coming fight scene, and they're no longer going to be the number one sport. Okay? It's over now. The UFC on Saturday proved that it's as rigged as most sports are. And it's sad, because I think all sports should be somewhat pure. Obviously, officials are going to screw up, but that's part of their job. Part of their job is their immediate injection on what they think the rule is at that time, and their vision on something, and whether it's obscure or not, we have to understand that that's what the official is there to do. Is every strike always a strike? No. Is every ball always a ball? No. Is every touchdown a certainty? No. But all in all, sports are pure because the referees make a pure decision. They're not thinking about, the league needs the Raiders to win by 15 so that way they could go to the Super Bowl. So, all right, pass interference. You want a prime example of how sports are rigged? Okay. So Saturday you got Conor McGregor's fight. That's UFC. Baseball. The Astros. Let's just cheating. Okay, there's that. Football. New Orleans got screwed last year. LA is the biggest market outside New York in the whole entire United States.
It's not a good football market, though.
No, it's not, but I guarantee you those Super Bowl ratings are disappointing. And now look, the Rams didn't make the playoffs.
They're the new Dolphins.
Oh.
They're becoming the Dolphins. What they used to be. They're overpaying for everybody, and
their talent's getting thin. Their talent's
they
getting
have
real
star
thin.
power, but they don't. Yeah, they have a lot of holes. They're becoming what the Dolphins were.
And they overpaid for their quarterback. Let's talk about Jared Goff for a second.
Then they're using the Dolphins. I think they're using the climate and the big city, the warm weather to their advantage. I think they're becoming that.
Yep. That's why they can't beat
GM
cold
should
weather
be fired.
That's why they can't beat cold weather teams. But anyway, basketball. Basketball is probably the most rigged sport of them all. Every time LeBron touches the ball, it's a foul on somebody. He basically cried himself to a championship when Draymond kicked him in the nuts.
Oh, my God. We're not arguing this again.
We're not arguing. It's a fact, Jack. So, no sport is pure anymore. And it's sad because people accept it to be a falsehood or anything like that. But just because it's not pure doesn't mean it can't be enjoyed, I suppose. Hockey's pure. But again, no one watches hockey. So purity doesn't draw any ratings, I guess. NASCAR, too. NASCAR is kind of pure. Think about it. Golf is pure and it's boring.
It's kind of hard to rig a NASCAR.
Well, no, it's not.
What, they give one guy a flat tire? They don't want to win.
All right, fine. It's a little hard to rig NASCAR. Fine. But that's it. Our time here is done. Speedy, we're in the end game now. Tell them where they can find us.
Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube, Instagram, Snapchat, iHeartRadio, TuneIn Radio, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, on our website at worldwidesportsradio.com. And we are one of only...
In honor of Derek Jeter, I'm going to say it twice. 16
sports radio networks and podcasts on radio.com. And I'll say it twice, too. That is radio.com.
I'm very proud of you, Speedy.
Had to roll with it.
Very proud of you, Speedy. And, yeah. That's our show. Why am I trying to blank as to what I'm supposed to do now? End game. Tell me where they can find us. Yeah, I don't know. I'm lost.
I got it. Don't worry.
No, go ahead.
This is the part where I always say, Thanks for listening, and have a glorious night.
I wish you would have sang with that much enthusiasm.
Nah, not worth it.
No, it wasn't. But you know what? It made Errol happy, so that's all that matters.
No, me singing doesn't make him happy.
No. No, it does not.
But yet he wants it anyway.
No, that's because he's a little weird. I'm just kidding. Before you know it, he'll call. Who are you calling weird? No.
No, he'll admit he's weird. He's not afraid to admit that.
Oh, well. I don't know. Anyway. We'll be back tomorrow. We will talk about the AFC and NFC championship. And, I don't really know what else we're going to talk about tomorrow, because tomorrow really hasn't happened yet. Whatever, I screwed up these guys' names. I don't care. So, I'm going to go call the host, or not host, I don't know what the hell we're doing, so we'll call Eric, see what Eric has to say. You know what I want to do tomorrow? Because I don't know how these guys are going to operate. Tomorrow, we're going to go through every team and see what they need to do in the offseason, I think.
NFL?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I haven't watched a game of basketball this year. I have to tell you, I haven't lost an ounce of sleep. Not an ounce of sleep. Steph Curry will come back, and everyone's just going to absolutely be like, oh, yeah, that's right. He is freaking amazing. Mm-hmm.
Besides Errol, who said he wasn't.
No, I just think a lot of people are like, oh, Golden State, oh, boy, what happened to them? I think this is great for Golden State.
They know they have a leniency of, all right, our star player got hurt.
Both.
Yeah, right.
And now Draymond has to actually, shoot, and that's not something they wanted.
Right.
But when Steph Clay come back and they get another piece for D'Angelo Russell, that team's going to be pretty good.
We'll see.
And Kevin Durant's going to rue the day he left there, I'll tell you that much. Just saying. But yeah, so we're out of here. I hope everyone has a wonderful night. Yeah. I guess we'll see everybody tomorrow. See ya!
You're listening to the Worldwide Sports Radio Network.